All right, test 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're broadcasting live on Church One and on Spreaker, which is bizarre that I was able to do that. I didn't have to stop anything. So if someone wants to switch over to Spreaker and let me know, is the volume still good enough on Spreaker? That's my concern. We're using two different platforms. And on the MacBook Pro, Spreaker gives me no ability to adjust the volume. So we have to be using the MacBook input volume for Spreaker. Remember, on OBS, we're using two volume controls. Actually, there's three volume controls for the MacBook Pro. There's the MacBook input volume control, there's the OBS software volume control, and there's a volume control on this device that I have connected here to me. It's so small, but there's a little volume control. So really, there's three volume controls on that platform, which is crazy. All right. All right. Loud enough here. Okay, someone says loud enough, right? Loud enough. How is the quality? How is the quality? Now, because I guess quality is just as subjective as volume. I'm going to Spreaker really quick. Going to Spreaker. Okay, someone says loud enough, right? Loud enough. How is the quality? How is the quality? Now, I think it's as good. To me, that's just as good as it was. I mean, we're using a wireless microphone system here. This is not for our podcasting. This is going to be for our sermons at church. I think it's of the same quality. I don't know if it's loud enough, though. I don't know if it's loud enough. I don't know. At least I don't think it's loud enough, but I'm being told that it is, so I don't want to. Sounds good, not distorted, okay? How does it compare to our other sermons that we have posted? How does it compare to the other wireless mic system that we're currently using at church? Like if you go back and listen to any of our old messages that we preached on the wireless mic, how is it? I don't think I can go any louder with the input. I don't think I can go any louder. I don't think so. I wonder how loud it is here. Test 1, 2, test. Yeah, that's about to maximum. Like, I'm afraid to touch anything else. Because I'm looking at the meter and I'm almost maxing it out. So there's no way I can go louder. And I'm almost into the red. I'm touching the red on Spreaker. So that means there's no way to go louder. Going louder would be detrimental. All right. So I don't think we can touch anything else. All right. So, and yeah, we're actually going into the red. Okay. I'm getting messages. It's a little louder than the older messages. Okay, good. It's a little louder than the older messages. That's good. How about quality? Is it the same quality or maybe just a little lesser? I think it sounds similar. Because I think on the older ones you can hear kind of a buzz and like I'm just going to do something really quick. I'm going to go to the Spreaker app. Okay, I'm going to go jump down here really quick to say Understanding Law and Gospel Part 60, which was at the church. Yeah, I'm trying to ask, how do we think it's... Yeah. All right. It's a little bit of a buzz. After taking what feels like a long detour. Okay. Sounds pretty good. Now I'm going to go test what we're doing. Test. Yeah, I'm trying to ask, how do we think... Okay, I'm hearing myself. Yeah. Test. All right. It's a little bit of a buzz. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be pretty close. I think it's sufficient. So for those tuning in, what we purchased, do I even have the box here? I don't have the box. It's the coolest thing ever. Currently at Victory Baptist Church, our setup is we have a wireless microphone system. Someone says sounds similar. Notice they didn't say it sounds better. Okay, all right. That makes me a little nervous. They said it sounds similar, not better. That makes me a little nervous, but that's okay. We purchased a. Okay, so our current setup at Victory Baptist Church, for those who want to know this, and this just gives us the opportunity to test this a little longer. We have a wireless mic system that goes into an amplifier. From the amplifier, it's an RCA, red and white cord that comes out into a single, basically mini headphone type cord that plugs into the headphone jack of our laptop. That's how we get the wireless sound to the computer. A wireless receiver into an amplifier, out from the amplifier into the computer. All right. Therefore, it requires an entire sound system. We are realizing we need to purchase possibly a new amplifier, since that amplifier is old and it won't turn on or off anymore. We have to unplug it. So, while we were in the process of trying to figure that out, we got the new MacBook Pro, and then we took it to the church to hook it up, and you plugged in and the headphone jack. The Mac was like, we don't know what you're trying to do. That's not a microphone. And we're like, yes, it is. No, it's not. Okay, so that didn't work. So we found on Amazon for $50. Hang on, I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting phone calls. Sorry about that. I know that was loud. I got to turn those notifications off. All right. So we found for $50 on Amazon this. I mean, you can't even imagine how small this thing is. This little clip that's clipped to my pants currently. I mean, it fits in the palm of my hand. It's just a little transmitter. I mean, little. I mean, it is so small. Literally, it fits in the palm of my hand. You plug in at the bottom of it a wireless microphone, or like a lapel mic. All right, it just plugs in. You clip this little wireless receiver, transmitter. There we go, wireless transmitter. You just clip it to your pants, and then plugged into your Mac. It's just a little USB plug-in, and it fits in the palm of your hand. And then there you go. You don't need a sound system. You don't need anything. You don't need a soundboard. It just goes directly into the Mac. Now, obviously, if we had a soundboard and we had a wireless mic system, we probably could improve the quality of our broadcast. Also, it would cost us, $1,000 versus $50. So I'm thinking for this quality for $50, I think this is the way to go. I think this is the way to go. Now the dangerous part is when I had to change lots of settings. So it's going to be switching back to my microphone that I typically podcast on here in a second, and see if we can switch back and do everything. But I think this is pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it makes me nervous that it sounds similar. I was hoping it would sound, it would be foolish to think it would sound better. It has to be. There's no way that a transmitter that fits in the palm of your hand, bypassing an entire sound system setup, obviously there's no way it was going to sound better. There's just no way it was going to sound better. I think that would be full. It says still hearing everything well. Okay, good. I just think that trying to think it was going to sound better was probably naive. I mean, we've got, I don't even know how much that receiver costs. I don't remember how much the wireless mic system has. Clearly that was going to sound better. But if this sounds similar for $50, and we don't even need to replace technically anything with the sound system anymore, then I think we actually save money. We save headache and trouble. We don't even need all of that. We just put the Mac back in the sound booth, plug in the adapter, change the settings, go live. When I come home, unplug the adapter, plug in our podcasting microphone, which is right here in front of me, change the settings, and we're good to go. Now, changing the settings, I know that sounds, considering all the trouble we originally had, it appears that it's not going to be that difficult, but we're going to find out here in just a few minutes when I switch back. and see if everything works. And then when I get to church, I'm going to have to switch back. Yeah, in theory, the way to go would be just have a computer at the church and have a computer here. In theory, but that's for those churches that have lots of money. So yeah, currently we don't have that. But what I may do. I may continue using the old. I may try this tonight. I may try this with the old computer and continue to use the old computer until it's dead before we have to start transporting the MacBook Pro back and forth. This tells me I can keep the MacBook Pro and be good. But if I can continue to use the old one until the old one is completely and utterly dead and can bypass the entire sound system. I mean, we can continue using our current setup until that computer dies. I may try this, though. I may try this with the old computer. I may do a test here from the house here with the old computer. I need to plug it in because the battery in that old laptop is dead. Okay, so I think we found a solution. I'm going to go listen to it one more time. It's so hard when you're trying to listen to it. It really is. When you're live on the air and you're trying to listen. All right, I'm going to listen here. I think we found a solution. I'm going to go listen to it one more time. It's so hard when you're trying to listen to it. Yeah, it really is. When you're live on the air. I still feel like it could be a little louder. I think the position of this microphone. Test is going to have a lot to do with it. But I really can't go louder because if I look on Spreaker, it's hitting the red. As soon as I just raise my voice, it's hitting the red. That tells you it's going to start distorting. If I look in OBS, it's in the red. It's not just touching the red, it's in the red. And if I look over at the MacBook, it's about to hit, it's maxing out. So if I make it louder, the only thing I could possibly, I don't know. I'm afraid to touch anything. So I think we've solved the problem. I really do. I think we've solved the problem. All right. Okay. So I think in the meantime, what I'm going to do is here in a minute, I'm going to switch everything back to our podcast setup. I will have to do another test for the podcast setup. I apologize for that. But the reason I will have to do another test for the podcast setup is because I got to make sure everything is good before I can podcast again. And just to see how easy it is to set up. This was pretty easy. This was actually easier to set up than all the problems we did have. Let me go here to Church One really quick. Go to Church One. Okay, I'm going to listen. Supposed to be working on Elisha, 7 IMs, and the 7 signs in the Gospel of John. And then I'm going to... Everything is good before I can podcast again. And just to see how easy it is to set. Yeah, it's pretty similar. It's pretty... I'll get into my own mind here. With the way I want it to sound or how loud I want it to be or anything like that. I think we're good. I think we're good to go. So let's look at these settings. We're at 1.8 there, and we're at, with the MacBook Pro, that volume is set at, let me see here. Come on. It is set at 88%. 88%. If I go to, I may go up to just test. Here we go. Come on. I went to 89%. I'm going to keep it at 89%. I know 1% is probably not going to make much of a difference, but that's okay. 89%, 1.8. I think we're good to go. I'm going to go back over here. All right. We're going to put that at 89%. That should impact quality. It may give it just a little bit of a oomph, a little bit. For those who typically email me to say we're not loud enough, I definitely need those people to say, no, that's good, that's good, that's good. Because I did have at least, I think, one, maybe two yesterday, I can't remember which day, once we got the MacBook going, hey, that's perfect right there. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. That was for the podcasting mic. So I don't know how well this sounds. So I don't know if this is going to be loud enough for the people who were complaining that it wasn't loud. I think it all depends on the phone you're using, right? The smaller the phone, the smaller the speaker, the harder it's going to be hearing. That's why I always tell people with their phones, get a Bluetooth speaker. You can get them for cheap, and then you just send the signal over to the Bluetooth speaker, and that's always going to be loud enough. But I think most people just using their phone speaker. I'm curious. The one person giving me feedback on the volume, headphones or phone speaker? For the person giving me feedback currently on Spreaker, are you using headphones or your phone speaker? Because there's a massive difference. You're using headphones, it's probably going to definitely be loud enough. You're using your phone speaker, and see, that's the thing. If someone's using headphones, they'll be like, oh man, I got to turn it down. You're too loud. Oh, using phone speaker. Okay. Okay. All right. Then I think we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have resolved. We have been able to demonstrate that you can live stream from any church with a computer and a $50 adapter, and you don't even need a sound system. That's at least audio streaming. I know some people want video, but I'm telling you, I was watching a church. Just free of charge. I was watching a church this morning live stream. I'm telling you, I don't get I don't know why people want video. It to me is so distracting because where the camera is almost always behind the congregation. It's always to the back of the congregation, right? So like I'm watching, I watched a couple of churches. I'll just give you an example. One, the pastor was like, he was going to town about how the Old Testament sacrifices had to be sacrificing over and over and over and over again. And he's passionate. And he's like behind the pulpit, and then he steps down right in front of the people. And the camera, because you're looking at the people, some of them wouldn't even looking up at him, right? They're just sitting there looking at their Bible. Like he's trying to make this great point. He's not reading Scripture, but they're sitting there looking at the Bible. They're not even looking at him. And I almost wanted to say, hey, let me interrupt because I wanted to tell everyone, could you pay attention to the person speaking? What are you reading? He's not reading Scripture. What are you reading? And I almost wanted to scream it because I couldn't understand it. So sometimes when I'm watching a church video, it's more distracting to me than it's beneficial. I'm watching the congregation either not paying any attention, or you'll see someone's trying to quiet their kid, or husband and wife basically having a fight, and and I'm like, no, why do we live stream it video? Now, if you can put the camera where you don't even see the congregation, like you zoom in on the platform and the entire congregation is not present, then I could see why that would be more beneficial to do video. But most of them is one stationary camera, or at least a lot of them, and you see everybody. And so you're just watching people, you're just like, you see people falling asleep. You're trying to listen to the sermon, but because that's why I just go to audio. I just go to, like, even if I'm getting ready to watch a church, if they give me a video or audio option, I go to the audio only. Because, that's funny. I sat down where I typically podcast, and I immediately reached over and grabbed the podcast microphone and pulled it towards me because of just habit. And I'm sitting here speaking into the podcast microphone that's not even hooked up because the microphone is, it's attached to my T-shirt. All right. So, but yeah, it's just, I know during the pandemic, everybody wanted to video stream, and I just don't understand it. I was watching that today, and I'm like, what in the world are the people doing? They're not paying any attention to this pastor. He's pouring his heart out, and I don't know where they're reading. I don't know if they're doing their Bible reading plan in the middle of the sermon. I don't know if they're just reading ahead. You just almost want to, like, I'm not even preaching, and I wanted to call the church and say, tell the pastor to just stop preaching, because obviously no one in his congregation is paying any attention. They all decided to read ahead. That drives me crazy. So, but there you have it. All right. Now, I think we've done enough testing. I can go back and listen to all of this and see. So here in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna stop this live broadcast. In about 10 minutes, I'm gonna switch everything over to the podcasting app, and then we're gonna see if we can make it work. And I'm gonna have to see if I have to shut the entire computer down to switch over, or if I can just immediately switch over. All right? And I'm going to go see who was trying to call me and see what was going on. All right. Okay, I think we're good. All right. If you have any feedback on the sound quality, too loud, too low, not good quality, please email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. If you could email me like now, like immediately, that's where I can make any of those, I can change things based off your suggestions and your feedback tonight. Because I think in a little bit I'm going to switch this over to the old laptop, and I think I'm going to continue to use the old laptop until it's dead. But I may use it with this new setup where we can bypass the sound system. Just so that we know if the sound system was to die today, it would not impact our ability to broadcast. All right, so we will see. All right, thank you very much for listening. That's a 21-minute test. We'll see how it sounds. I'm going to go listen to it right now. All right, we'll be back on the air and probably about, hopefully, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on this. But right, as soon as I hit play, I'm going to see like a NASCAR pit crew. I'm going to see how fast I can convert this back to a podcast setup and go live. I want to see if I can do it within, I want to see if I can pull it off within 10 minutes. That would be awesome. All right, that's what we're going to do. Thank you for listening. God bless.